Hey guys, I can't believe that I finished this art journal that I started near the end of 2016. So that's a little over 3 years ago. My mother-in-law gave me this notebook that had really rough craft paper inside of it, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And when somebody gives you a notebook, a really great thing to do is turn it into an art journal. Although this one is specifically a found poetry art journal. And I know they say this on every one of the videos of this book, that I was tearing apart an old written journal that I had kept for NaNoWriMo. I didn't have any ideas for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, so I decided that I was just going to write 50,000 words of a journal, which meant that this journal was just long and cringy. I wrote about every mundane detail that I would never care to remember. I didn't like it. I don't like reading back on it very much. It was a very strange time in my life as well, with lots of awkwardness. I think I was 19 years old. I was too embarrassed to have it in my house, and I was too embarrassed to put it in the recycling bin, so I decided to tear it apart, and each page that I tore out, I would make a found poem out of it. So I would cut out bits and pieces and phrases and try to mash them together into something, and most of the time it turns out somewhat incoherent. The poetry's not good. Some of them I really like. Part of that has to do with the fact that it now holds two meanings. Each page not only reminds me of what the original writing was about, it also has a different meaning as to what I was thinking when I was mashing these words together. And so what I ended up with was a new written journal that encompasses two times in my life at the same time, and is safe to show to anybody because it doesn't necessarily make sense to everybody. In my other art journals, there have been times where I would write upside down and messy just so that people can flip through it and not feel compelled to read it. But that didn't always work, especially since when you're flipping through it yourself, you also aren't really compelled to read it. So it loses its value as a journal. And I was greatly limited to what I could find on each page, and some pages were much harder than others, and so that's why there are a lot of pages in here that just don't really make any cohesive sense. This is absolutely my favorite finished book that I've ever made, and I'm so excited to have it finished, and also kind of sad that it's done. And if I had a really huge audience, I would have loved to turn this into a nice poetry book, zine kind of thing. I don't personally like the sketchbook tours where you stop at every page and talk about it, so feel free to just pause whenever you want to. And I can totally see myself doing this again with a altered book of some kind. That'd be really cool. Highly recommend this project.